Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've already gotten started with this year's DC holiday special. So let's move things along with Dark X-Men #5, wrapping up the Fall of X miniseries. So I mistakenly stated in when covering last month's issue that I thought that last month's issue was the last issue. It's not. This is. So, where we left off, Madeline and her X-Men return to the Limbo Embassy to discover that Orchis had their own Goblin Queen, and she was going to seemingly try and take over Limbo and depose Madeline. And she has Faint as a prisoner. So, also she's managed to find the what is it friggin' called? Basically, Madeline's Cerebro. So, the Dark X-Men fight the Darker Madeline and her, as well as the Orchis goons with her. Her Nightcrawler-inspired demon makes is also dealt with, but is proven to be quite the problem. But turns out that the darker Madeline actually wants to recruit Madeline, as well as the other Madelines of the multiverse. Orchis is a means to an end, and she's well aware they're going to fail. And during the battle, one of the Orchis scientists reveals he's basically turned remnants of LCD into a weapon. But seeing it snaps Albert out of Zero's control, and so Zero and Albert go after the scientist and destroy him, and basically become a tri-headed creature that's got Albert, Zero, and LCD. LCD thinks that the arrangement's gross, and Zero agrees and suggests that they take their feelings out on everyone around them, which, not a bad idea at the moment. One of the other, I believe it would be Dr. Valens, also one of the Orchis scientists, is running through the embassy trying to hide, realizing that, yeah, Orchis is now on the back foot here. But Azazel, apparently Valens made a deal, and, well, Azazel basically said, yeah, hell has hierarchies, and, well, there's always a bigger, badder wolf, and teleports her into a wall. But the Nightcrawler creature is attacking, has gone after Emplate. Emplate asks Azazel to help him. Azazel refuses, and so Emplate kicks the creature to Azazel, who finds it to be rather familiar looking, right before it bites him in half. But Madeline basically freezes everything and freezes everyone into place with her mutant powers, enabling though it, what she's doing is psionic in nature. It doesn't affect LCD and Albert, and LCD suggests that they remove themselves from Zero. Um, but the darker Goblin Queen attempts to recruit Madeline to her side, but Faint makes an illusion of Madeline before she was the Goblin Queen, and manages to talk down Madeline, who uses the scythe she's been carrying to decapitate her multiversal doppelganger. And she states that she writes her own story, and she decides the ending. Gambit and Faint return to go to the Morlock tunnels, with Faint joining the X-Men and being Sync telling her they'll figure out where she can help most. Zero is happily living in the embassy. Maggot seems to be enjoying life on the open seas, though it seems that Warren's remains are still at the bottom of the sea. Emplate is now stalking New York's alleyways looking for people to feed off of. The Nightcrawler creature has become something of a pet of Madeline's, and she named it Banff. LCD has her own body and is seemingly working on, I would presume, returning Albert's sentience to him. But Alex and Madeline talk at the end, and she basically reminding readers that she is Madeline Pryor, the ruler of Limbo, and once and forever the Goblin Queen. That is where the story ends. Either way, it's the end of the miniseries. Presumably with the end, there are plot points that are being dangled for a future writer to pick up later. I like this miniseries. It was definitely interesting seeing Gambit being kind of the goodest good guy of the group, but no, it's a nice difference. Have to see. There's the Fall of X is not ending with these miniseries. There's also additional upcoming minis: Resurrection of Magneto, Fall of the House of X, so on and so forth. So, but moving on to our next book, we've got X-Men Red, number 18. Where we left off, the Civil War on Arakko rages on. And with the aid of Apocalypse, Storm, the Regent of Sol, has summoned basically a Krakoa-esque creature to face off against Genesis and her forces. Genesis does the same thing, creating basically bringing the island of Arakko to life. John Ironfire continues to wade his way through the White Swords 100, and the two Titans fight. Arakko versus the new island. Kaorak, which is which has at its heart appears to be Sunfire, Apocalypse, Revelation now, Orc, and Vulcan. Storm goes to confront Genesis directly, and the vines, and Genesis uses the vines to take her, but Storm breaks free. He gets a charge of lightning, but the Staff of Annihilation says miss. However, Genesis wasn't Aurora's target, but rather the staff was. And Miss Storm did, as she hit Genesis. Purity, the sword Purity returns to the white sword, and he and Ironfire duke it out. Horus Serrata attempts to use his powers to take out those who stand against Genesis. However, Sunspot goes solar, full-blown solar, and blinds Horus Serrata. John Ironfire stabs the white sword and then cuts him in two, saying that he could make sure that the white sword doesn't return. He'd stab the white sword's heart and keep the blade there until it was done. The Fisher, who's become intertwined with former council member, one of the council members was Living History, basically uses history to take down Horus Serrata. The Fisher, though, sacrificing himself in the process. Genesis causes the everything within all the various bacteria in Storm return against her, and the Annihilation staff tries to get Aurora to accept it as so Aurora could be the new host. And Aurora probably tells exactly where tells Annihilation where to stick it. Gripping the staff, though, she calls down a lightning bolt directly on it, destroying the staff, and Genesis falls. Storm has won. Jilo and Aura are now merged into one being, Jalora. The Fisher is mourned. The White Sword and John Ironfire are reunited. And the two Titans embrace. Later, Storm and Apocalypse are talking, and apparently Annihilation and as well as Pestilence and War have been exiled to the moon of Phobos, which was held by Orcus. That has since changed. Genesis has fashioned himself a throne, and the Orcus base is now an abattoir of dead Orcus troops. And that is where the series ends. Yes, this is at the moment, final issue of X-Men Red. I mentioned there were additional X-Men miniseries related to the Fall of X coming in the new year. One of those is Resurrection of Magneto, which will be continuing, which at least will be continuing to be with Storm. X-Men Red was by and far one of the best books in the Krakoan age, and I'm gonna miss it. I mean, it was consistently good. Um, ju- it was it was an X Men book, but it was so not an X Men book, and even as a long time X Men fan, I loved it for that matter, that fact. But yeah, moving on though to our next book, we've got Marvel Zombies, Black, White, and Blood, #3. As per usual, we got three separate Marvel Zombie stories. Our first one is by Peach Momoko called Juju and the Gift of the Insect Bead. This is related to her to Peach Momoko's Demon Days series, but a demon steps out. A young woman seemingly steps out of a tree stump. Elsewhere, a little girl finds an insect bead, and some dead bodies. A bunch of dead bodies have been found, all missing their tongues. And so the story of the valley of the translation is Valley of 16. I'm going to try and hope I say this right, but Giorukundani. Basically, a spirit appeared in the dreams of 16 lumberjacks, saying, don't chop down this tree." They all disobeyed, were killed, and had their tongues removed. But the insect bead is then used to not so much regrow the tree, potentially speaking, regrow the tree at least. And the little girl explains that she was able to defeat the spirit by paying respect to the forest. And it does seem as though the tree will be regrowing. Our next story, Already Dead, by Matt Groom and Alessandro Vitti. So we have it somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Hawkeye and Black Widow have appears to be a town. No zombies. People are alive. They go to investigate. The secret is a cave, and as Black Widow makes her way towards the relic, which she doesn't recognize, does it look familiar? It's not Asgardian or Kree or any system magic that she knows, but she recognizes. She steps on a skull, crushing it. And the truth is revealed. It's various Nick Fury, the two Mastermind as well as Mastermind Juniors. Apparently, Clint's already been bitten, so Natasha puts a bullet through him. And she kills the illusionists as well, and then Fury. Turns out Fury explains that there's scientists in the town, though, and well, they're trying to figure out a cure, but well, they're infected, and so their work goes slowly unless they're fed. But Natasha makes her way through the rest of the town. Once she runs out of bullets, well, she grabbed Hawkeye's quiver, and turns out she's just as good with a bow as he is. though as the sun rises, she has pretty much nowhere left to go. Our final story, surprise motor struck her. New York City, night before a big gala. Missy Knight is working security, and so as is Luke Cage, who is in fact bodyguard for the daughter of the man throwing the gala. Who is also being regularly escorted by two security drones. But the man running the holding the gala has a rather familiar last name, Strucker. Apparently, he's managed to recreate the Super Soldier serum. Luke realizes that one of his people working with him is apparently one of the guard that sold him off to a research facility, a man named Rackham. But everyone gets injected with, a handful of soldiers are injected with the serum, and zombie out. Cage makes his way through, dealing with the zombies. But one of the security drones activates, seemingly killing all the zombies around Luke and briefly knocking him out. Luke finds Rackham fully zombified and chowing down on Misty Knight. He rescues his charge, but well, it turns out her father had a secret base, a secret means of riding out such a zombie apocalypse, and well, Alexandra's been compromised, and she promptly vomits on Cage and attacks him. He backgets her against the door and realizes he's being interned, and well, Luke turns, and that is where the issue ends. I really like I especially like the Black Widow and Hawkeye story, though it was saddening to see Hawkeye get killed, but well, sadly, yeah. Moving on though to our last one for the moment, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 41, continuing Dark Droids. Where we left off, Zuckuss and Tonga were betrayed and left behind on Laconia, and taken by the scourge-possessed Valance, intending to add them to their to the Scourge Collective. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Hayden of the Empire has decided to leave the Empire after having made a backup of Valance's data files. That said, the Losha's current employer, Sifak, has decided not to pass along a message from Tonga to Losha, but Hayden has shown up and gives Losha the data drive, which with Valance's memories, though the point that it cuts off means that Valance won't remember her. Sadly, she has no idea where Tonga is. However, one of Sivek's droids shows Losha the message. On Epiconia, the conversion of both Zuckuss and Tonga is about to begin, but Tonga manages to escape, as does Zuckuss, and the two of them deal with Valance. However, a few Tuga cats show up, carrying thermal detonators in their mouths. The Tuga cats deliver their payload and escape. And Losha and Vakora show up. To the joy and also perplexement of Tonga. But they wade through the various droids, and Tonga is able to get the data drive into Valance's head, and he recovers memories. Last thing he remembers was escaping from a Star Destroyer and reaching out for Zuckuss at the end of War of the Bounty Hunters. Tonga explains a very quick version of he was taken over by some kind of evil hive mind, and that if anyone's got glowing purple eyes, they should probably be blasted. And Valance does what he can to deal with those possessed by the Scourge. The issue ends with Zuckuss, Tonga, Losha, and even Vakora basically gang up to hug Valance. Vakora is constantly trying to insert herself into the crew, though they have no ship, no credits, and no leads on any bounties. But Zuckuss, has to find his best friend, 4LOM. But Valance explains that states that he's got a mission, freeing Han Solo. And it looks like the next issue is the series finale. That is where the issue ends. I'm definitely hoping that we're soon going to be getting at least somewhat closer to Return of the Jedi. I don't like the idea of the fact that it kind of feels like at this point when it comes to the Star Wars comics that are set between Empire and Jedi, that Marvel is kind of just trying to make it last as long as possible, and it can't keep going. It's got to come to that point of making a plan to rescue Han. But anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.